The recent developments in US-Israel relations are significant. The Netanyahu government and the Biden administration have diverged significantly. For the first time in our lifetime, the United States has not aligned with Israel's wishes. This signals a major departure in modern Israeli-American relations. The message is clear: Israel is on its own. Lives may be at stake, and the impact on Joe Biden's political career and Netanyahu's future remains uncertain. The break between the two nations is unlikely to be reversed. Despite the White House's statements, actions often speak louder. When a UN resolution was raised, the US abstained from supporting Israel. This abstention sends a strong message that Israel cannot act with impunity. This marks a critical turning point in the relationship between the US and Israel, with potential ramifications for both countries. Despite attempts to walk back statements, the damage is done. Netanyahu's vision for Israel, including actions in Rafah and occupied territories, does not align with US policy. The break between the two nations is unlikely to be reversed. The American Jewish community faces a crisis, torn between different directions. Arab and Islamic protesters in Minnesota and Michigan see their pressure yielding results. Hamas celebrates a significant day, having secured American support in the UN vote. These events signal a pivotal moment in the relationship between the United States, Israel, and the Middle East. President Joe Biden did everything he could for months to avoid a big public fight, even after Netanyahu publicly dismissed his humanitarian concerns. Former State Department official Frank Lowenstein said to the Washington Post, "Now we have this very serious shift in how Biden will manage the Israelis throughout the rest of the war, and they will either pay attention now or watch relations deteriorate." UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said failure to implement his resolution would be unforgivable. Israeli officials said they won't cease firing. The Washington views this public rift with Israel as an artificial crisis Netanyahu manufactured for domestic political reasons. White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby said calling for a ceasefire and hostage release is not a shift in our policy, and the Biden team is kind of perplexed that the Israelis are choosing to create a perception of daylight here when they don't need to do that. After the resolution passed 14-0, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sharply criticized the Biden administration for abstaining and called off a high-level delegation set to meet with White House officials on U.S. alternatives to a full invasion of Rafah. Previously, the U.S. had consistently vetoed similar resolutions calling for a ceasefire, but its position evolved last week when it proposed a resolution tied to the release of hostages. Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz declared that Israel would not abide by the resolution, vowing to continue fighting until all hostages return home. In summary, this UN resolution has intensified the rift between the US and Israel, signaling a significant departure from their previous alignment. The situation remains tense, with potential implications for the region's stability.